You're listening to the Muckrakers on today's News Talk, TNT.
Well, welcome back to the Muckrakers with me, Andrew Eborn, and my fellow TNT hosts, James Freeman and Basil Valentine. And we're having a deep dive, which is absolutely necessary, into COVID and the reactions around the world. And Basil was just unpacking about his views on that. And James, I know you wanted to come back.
Yeah, I do, because we talked about some of the techniques. Obviously, censorship, what does that mean? Well, there's lots of techniques. You can shadow ban people. You can demonetize them. You can deplatform them. You can cancel them altogether. And all of these techniques were used. And a good example of this, actually, is Russell Brand. He has got a colourful past. He's not hidden that. He was open about it at the time. And of course, he was very much supported by the legacy media and promoted on the basis of his colourful life. But we saw that attack on him recently. And what was driving that, no doubt, absolutely, was the fact that his platform was gaining momentum. It's got millions of followers, people paying him a subscription. And, I think it was getting too popular. And he did a tour to the US and went on mainstream platforms there and said some things that absolutely got to the heart of the narrative in the US. And I think he upset some very, very powerful people while he was there, because around 6 months later, of course, we saw that attack on him by Channel 4 News. But the thing is to remember, and what followed on from that actually was YouTube demonetized him. They didn't take his content off. His content is still on YouTube, but they've stopped him getting money from him. And he's had all sorts of attacks. And I think he's now on Rumble, where he can still monetize himself, but they tried to stop that. And the shocking thing about this is the British government even got involved in this and acted as judge and jury. And you know what? He hasn't even the police haven't arrested him. There's been no court case. And yet Russell Brand was demonetized, attacked across the legacy media. And this is a good example of the way that they work. When somebody gets too powerful and starts saying things that they don't like, these are the kind of techniques that are used against him. And I think it's absolutely shocking that we had ministers in the UK government basically acting as judge and jury against Russell Brand. And yet, where are we now?
Yeah,
if there was a case against him, the police would have arrested him by now.
No, and I spoke across more platforms than Paddington about exactly this, is that I hate trial by media. I hate trial in the public eye. Everybody should be presumed innocent until proven guilty. Yeah. And the splash of the headlines is just horrendous. And I always say, look, trust, and that's the thing, isn't it? Trust is at an all-time low in the media, in doctors, in the various other services, in the police and so on and so forth. And it comes in on foot, but leaves on horseback.
Critically analyzing global affairs, the Muckrakers on today's News Talk, TNT.